before we get in the program, it's time for this week's joke of the week.
Why can't you get angry with a yam?
Can't get angry with a yam. Something about it's too sweet.
Because they're such sweet potatoes.
There you go.
So this week's garden joke is brought to you by Rescue.com. American-made rescue products keep your family, home, and yard protected from pests, insects like wasps, hornets, yellow jackets, flies, ants, and more. Learn more at Rescue.com. That's RESCUE.com.
Well, if you are looking for alternatives to enjoy something that's healthy, that you still like, that you don't have to buy at the store, here we're going to talk about some of these things. Homemade snacks or snacks that you didn't know you could make, or maybe you'd heard about it but didn't think it was really that possible or that easy, that you can make at home.
Right. So these are some good options. So the first one is crackers. Now, there's a lot of different varieties of crackers out there. You know, you're like, why would I make these? But if you maybe have a sensitivity to something, or you just want to make different crackers to your liking, then you can make your own crackers. And it's pretty simple. You usually just need like some sort of flour, water, some seasonings, and that's usually pretty much it.
Right. And you put them in the oven. We've done this, and it has worked quite well. Now, full disclosure, we're not making pounds and buckets of crackers, but the versatility of what you can do with it is very, it's up to your imagination. What you're choosing to do and how you're adding flavors. And if you want more garlic this or more sesame that.
Or like seeds or whatever.
Right.
Yeah. So you can get pretty creative, and they don't take very long to usually make.
You got to be quick. You can't just put them in the oven and walk away. You've got to watch them, because they'll dry out and do what they need to do very rapidly. We burnt ours. The first batch we made, we burnt because we left them in too long.
Absolutely. The next one is crispy rice treats. So I know, like, I purchased these prepackaged, and Joey's like, why didn't you make them? And I'm like, well, this is just easier. And, you know, for me, it's a time thing. I don't have all day to sit here and make treats. But if you do have the time, or you really, really like the homemade ones, I would suggest it.
Well, growing up, we would, Mom would make those. You'd get the cereal and then the marshmallows, and it was the biggest, gooeyest mess you ever did see.
That's part of another reason why I don't like making them, is I don't like the gooey mess.
Well, you would line your pan with a wax liner.
Matter.
It doesn't matter. You just would throw the spatula and the spoon away. Is that what you do if you were doing this?
Possibly.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's a night and day difference. It's a night and day difference on the store-bought versus the homemade.
I guess. I mean, you seem to think so. I don't really. I think that the ones that are store-bought are now a lot better than they used to be.
Well, if you're gonna do a homemade one, I think you go to the foodnetwork.com, I guess that's the website, and Alton Brown, isn't that the guy's name? Yeah. He's got a very good homemade rice treat recipe that you can do. You can either melt your own marshmallows, or you can create your own goo, I guess.
Yeah.
Was it egg whites or egg shortening or something like that?
I don't really know.
Whipped egg whites is part of the process there. Anyway, really good. So there you go. Fruit leathers, or the fruit roll-up things. And if you've ever looked in the ingredients on any of these things, and we're guilty of this, you buy a pre-made pizza at the store, and there's 57 different ingredients in what they utilize to make this pizza. And realistically, there should be about 7 ingredients if you make it at home. So,
right. So
the ingredients are not, it's this and that and all this other stuff, and we all know it's bad for us.
Yeah, and sometimes you can make, like, if you're making something with the fruit, you can use the discards to make fruit leather. Like we did that with strawberries. So you can definitely look into that as well.
Mm-hmm. And you don't need a dehydrator. You can do this in your oven. Now, purchasing a dehydrator makes a lot of things in your preparation or storage much easier, and you don't have to go purchase a massive expensive dehydrator. There's places like Mercari and eBay and yard sales and thrift stores that have these for fractions of the dollar. Now, if you're going, there's all different kinds of dehydrators, My advice to you, if you're going to buy a dehydrator, get a fan. And I don't know if they make these anymore. I knew a fan-driven dehydrator. The fan forces the air through the unit. Years ago, and I'm sure they still have them, they just have a heating coil at the bottom, and the heat would rise through it. Took forever to dry anything. But you can do this in your oven as well. So it's not like I got to get a dehydrator, but you make jerky, you can make fruit roll-ups, you can dehydrate a lot of different things. Apple, you can make, we'll talk about that later, but you can dehydrate apples and orange and make that into a take and go type of trail
mix.
Trail mix with the dehydrated apples and stuff.
All right, so the next one is sandwich cookies.
What is a sandwich cookie versus a cookie?
Like a cookie that has some sort of cream or whatever in between the middle.
Like the ones that are double stuffed supposedly. That is that a sandwich cookie?
Or just like peanut butter sandwich cookies or oatmeal sandwich cookies.
Okay.
The sky's the limit here.
You can put whatever type of filling in it you want, but you need a top and a bottom, and you need something in the center.
Yes.
Okay.
That's what a sandwich cookie
I know. It's fine.
So you can get creative with these. Joey bought some peanut butter ones, and he was like, we should try to make these. And I think sometimes Joey forgets that I work a full-time job.
Well, I do too.
Yeah, but, I'm not always trying to spend hours in the kitchen. And maybe this is something that him and I can do together during the off-season of the radio show.
Right.
So yeah, sandwich cookies, I think that the sky's the limit. You can make them small, you can make them larger, you can make them fancy. There's a lot of options. You could even buy the cookies yourself and then make them into sandwich cookies if that's easier. Sometimes semi-homemade is good.
Well, peanut butter cookies, you can do a very simplistic. I've had these, the 3-ingredient peanut butter cookies.
Yeah.
Peanut butter, sugar, and egg. That's all you need, and they're just the most mouth-watering. You've had them too. Most mouth-watering cookies that you can possibly eat. And you're definitely, if you make them, you're going to eat more than you should, and you don't feel good afterwards. But you're like, I want one more, and then you should have stopped 3 before.
Yeah, they are delicious. So obviously any cookies, but people, something special about the sandwich cookies that make you feel a little bit more fancier. I don't know. They're delicious.
All right. Fancy coffee drinks. This is more because you consume coffee, not because you're a woman or anything like that. You can speak about this because you've had experience wandering through the realm of flavored coffees.
Yeah. So, I don't think so. A lot of people will go to, a coffee shop, and I get like it's a little treat, right?
It's the atmosphere and the ambience and the experience.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I make, and before I started working from home, I would stop, once a week and sometimes get a fancy coffee drink.
Because what would it be? $6?
Probably
$4 to $6.
Yeah.
And probably more now.
And then, because of reasons, I'm working from home, and it forced us all to kind of be home, and I learned how to make some of these fancy coffee drinks. And you can get the syrups pretty easily. I usually get the sugar-free kind, and then I even got to make my own homemade mocha type coffee drinks. I get the Ghirardelli cocoa powder, so I get a higher quality cocoa powder because I feel like it makes a difference in flavor and taste. And if you're since I'm making these at home, it's worth the investment. And I don't do this every day, but like once a week, maybe twice a week, I might make something a little bit fancier. There's lots of stuff that you can find online. You can find different YouTubers, different social media people that will show you how to make these things. I know there's like a lot of knockoffs or secrets or whatever. I kind of just make them to my liking, because sometimes I'll even just add protein powder to my iced coffee to make like a protein coffee. So it's just something that, you can do at home really easily. I even recently have been, or not recently, I've probably been doing this for the past few years, is adding pumpkin spice mix to my coffee. And then it gives it like a nice little pumpkin spice flavor during this time of year, which is very popular. And sometimes like when I make these, I feel like they taste better than when I was picking them up. I feel like I've accustomed them to my taste and sweetness level or not sweetness level, whatever it may be, and I enjoy it.
Yeah, absolutely. What else we have on the list here of
Let's
homemade?
talk about trail mix.
Trail mix. Now, trail mix, there is no wrong or right way to make a trail mix.
So technically, you should have like something kind of.
Nobody likes peanuts in trail mix. Okay,
I don't mind them.
Okay, well, I mean,
but anyway, you
some
should
of this,
have like trail mix should have a balance. You know, something maybe sweet, something salty, something crunchy.
So would you say it's like 1 cup of this, 1 cup of this, 1 cup of this, or is there a more defined ratio that this should be 1 cup and this should be a half and this should be?
I don't know if there's like a recipe, but I did make 2 different types of trail mix. A kind of I don't know what the word is. Kind of different than the typical like
your customized trail mix.
Yeah, so typical than like cashews, peanuts, raisins, chocolate candies, almonds, whatever the regular trail mix grouping is. But I made a peanut butter kind of flavored one where I used like Reese's Pieces, peanut butter M&Ms. What else I have? Peanuts, obviously. Mini peanut butter cups, peanut butter filled pretzels, so it's kind of like peanut butter themed. And then I also made like a dark chocolate themed one that was more gourmet, I guess. It had like dark chocolate covered almonds, pistachios, dried cherries, some other dark chocolate components.
Didn't you have cranberries in one of them?
That was a dried cherry.
That was dried cherries. Okay.
Yeah. So this is what I did. I made them earlier this year, I think right around the beginning of June. And we had them for a couple of weeks. Mm-hmm. And maybe I'll make them again, but I was just like on this kick.
Well, when you're making trail mix, yes, probably when you figure out the raw ingredients in the beginning, it's going to cost more to get all of the ingredients and put them together. But the overall volume of trail mix quantity outweighs the amount of what you would go to the store and buy 1 bag pre-made of trail mix.
Oh, absolutely. You definitely save money, especially if you're making
pennies for the ounce or pennies for the pounds.
Now, I don't know if you're getting the standard traditional bag of trail mix and you're buying like the generic brand, I don't know if making that yourself would be cheaper, but if you're making like something that's a little...
You can make it the way you want it.
Yeah, more customized, or like I said, I made the gourmet dark chocolate one or the peanut butter one. Definitely, for the amount of trail mix that made, we were saving money.
Well, you can save money with WaltonsInc.com for all your spices and butchering needs.
We were brought to you today by our sponsor, Waltons. Listen, we know you care about where your food comes from. Canning and preserving your fruits and vegetables is great, but what about the meat? At Waltons, you can get the equipment, seasoning, and supplies to make sausage, jerky, and any other meat product your way to your high standards. Do you want to make snack sticks that people will actually like? Waltons created MeatJustSticks.com, an informational site to help you make the best finished product. Waltons even has a full line of their own meat grinders, mixers, and sausage stuffers to help you go from animal to edible. Waltons, everything but the meat. You can use code GROW50, that's GROW50, to save 10% off your order of $50 or more.